Hello students, this is Vittal Mamilla. In the previous video, in the part 5 video, we have seen what is the terminating decimal and what is the non-terminating repeating decimal. Both terminating and non-terminating repeating decimals are rational numbers. In this video, part 6 video, we are going to see about irrational number. How to represent irrational number. Let us see now. Irrational numbers are nothing but the numbers which are not rational are called irrational number. The numbers which are not rational are called irrational number. So what is a rational? Already we know that the number which are not in p by q form, where p comma q are integers and q not 0. So what is irrational number? Not in the numbers not in p by q form, where p comma q are integers and q is not equal to 0 is called irrational number, right? And the second representation of irrational numbers are in the square root form or root form. So if you observe this, root n is irrational number. Root n is irrational number. What about n here? N should not be a perfect square. Root n is irrational numbers where n not a perfect square. Not a perfect square. What are the perfect squares? We know that the perfect square is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are all perfect numbers. So if I write root 1 is equal to, I can write 1 only. Root 4 is equal to, I can write 2. Root 9 is equal to, I can write 3. Same way root 16 is equal to, I can write 4. Root 25 is equal to, I can write 5. So here in fact root 1 is equal to, we can able to write 1, where 1 is a rational number. Root 4 is equal to 2. So therefore root 4 is rational number. Root 9 is equal to 3. So because 1, 4, 9, 16, 25 are the perfect squares, we can write this 4 as 2 square, 9 as 3 square, 16 as 4 square and 25 as 5 square. So the numbers which are not a perfect square are called irrational numbers. So these are all are rational numbers, not a irrational numbers. So the example which we can see for irrational numbers is example root 2, root 3. Root 4 is not irrational because root 4 value is 2, which is a rational. So root 5, root 6, root 7, root 8, root 9 is not a irrational, it is a rational number. So root 10 like this, root 11, root 12, root 13, root 14, root 15, root 17 up to so on. These are all are irrational numbers in square root form, right? So root 2, root 3, root 5, root 6, root 7, root 8, root 10, root 11, root 12. These are all irrational numbers. So this is the first form of representation of irrational number, and this is the second form of representing a irrational number. Now the third form is, already we know that any number which is non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. Non-terminating, non-repeating decimal is called irrational numbers. Already we learned what is the decimal numbers. Decimal numbers are two types. One is a terminating and non-terminating. Terminating and non-terminating. Again, non-terminating divided into two parts. One is non-terminating repeating and non-terminating non-repeating decimal. We have already learned this. Decimals, two terms, terminating and non-terminating. Again terminating decimals divided into non-terminating repeating or non-terminating non-repeating, right? Non-terminating repeating and non-terminating non-repeating. That means it should not terminate it and it should not have any recurring number or repeating number. Okay, so here this non-terminating non-repeating decimal is called irrational number. Non-terminating non-repeating decimal is called irrational number. So I can write here. Third one is non-terminating and non-repeating decimals. Non-terminating non-repeating decimals are always called as irrational numbers. Non-repeating, or sometimes we will write repeating or recurring, both are same. Repeating or recurring. So non-terminating non-repeating decimals are called irrational number. The example which I can take as 1.2345 ... up to so on. That means up to so on, if the symbol up to so on is there, is nothing but it is a non-terminating, right? The first thing we should see whether the so on symbol is there or not, 3 dots are there or not. If so on symbol is there, then this decimal is non-terminating. So after non-terminating we should check whether it is recurring or non-recurring, repeating or non-repeating. So 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing is repeating, so it is non-terminating and non-repeating, so it is a irrational number. So example, next one, if I see, I can take it's like 2.565643 ... This is also, the symbol is there, so it is a non-terminating. If the symbol up to so on symbol is there, 3 dots are there, then this is non-terminating. Then we should check whether it is repeating or not. No number is repeating, so it is a non-terminating non-repeating decimal. Okay, the next representation of irrational number is, you can see the log 2, log 3, log 5 up to so on. This logarithm we will see in the next video about the logarithm chapter, but here log 2, log 3, log 5 are irrational numbers. Let us discuss in detail about logarithm in the next video. Okay, then the fifth one is irrational numbers are, the irrational number, you know that pi is a irrational number. Pi is irrational number. The value of pi is, you can say 3.1415 ... It is a non-terminating and also non-repeating. So we can say pi, this is approximate value, it's a so on, that means it's a non-terminating non-repeating decimal. So pi is also an irrational number. Next one more, if I take e is also irrational number. E is also irrational number. So e value, e is nothing but this is a Euler constant. E is nothing but Euler constant, which we are going to use in the logarithms or in the higher classes. E is a irrational number where e is a Euler constant, and the value also you can write e is equal to 2.71828 up to so on. This is the e value. E is called Euler constant. Euler constant. E is equal to 2.71828 ... It is also non-terminating non-repeating decimal. So this is a representation of irrational numbers. There are 5 ways we can represent an irrational number. The first one is, a number which is not in p by q is called an irrational number. Not in p by q is called irrational number where p comma q are integers and q not 0. And next one I can say root n is irrational number where n is not a perfect square. root n is irrational number where n is not a perfect square. Example root 2, root 3 like this. And the third one is non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. And the fourth one is log 2, log 3, log 5 up to so on. These are also called irrational numbers. And the last one, some constants will let us take. The first constant is pi. Already we know about pi in the 9th class also. So pi is also irrational number. The new number which we are introducing here is e. E is called Euler constant. The value of e is equal to 2.71828 up to so on. So this is about irrational numbers. Now let us see one theorem based on the irrational number. Okay, and irrational numbers we denote it by q dash or sometimes yes. We denote irrational numbers by q dash or yes. Now let us see one theorem, theorem 1.6, which says let p be a prime number, p be any prime number, then if p divides a square, suppose p divides some a square, then p also divides a. What is the theorem? If any, let p be any prime number, if p divides a square, then p also divides a. This is the theorem. P divides a square, then p also divides a. You can even write symbolically, if p divides a square, then p also divides a. This is a symbol for p divides a square. If p divides a square, then p also divides a. Let us see, one problem is given as do this. Verify the statement proved above for p is equal to 2 and 5 for a square is equal to 149 up to 81. If suppose let us take p is equal to 2, p should be prime number, right? Now if p divides a square, so 2 divides which of these numbers? Which of these numbers? Whether 2 divides 4? Yes, 2 2s are 4. 2 divides 9? No. 2 divides 25? No. 2 divides 36? Yes. 2 divides 49? No. 2 divides 64? Yes. 2 divides 81? No. So 2 divides 4. That means 2 divides a square, then 2 also divides 2. If 2 divides 4, 2 also divides 2. 2 divides 4 is nothing but what? 2, 4. 2 2s are 4, 0. We are getting remainder as 0. So if we are getting remainder 0 for 4, which is a 2 square, or we can say a square, then 2 also divides a. If 2 divides a square, 2 also divides a. So you know that 2 divides 2, 2 1s are 2, 0. So this one proved, right? If 2 divides 4, 2 also divides 2, right? 2 divides a square means 2 divides a. Second one, let us see. 36. Whether 2 divides 36? 2 divides 36? Let us see. 2 dividing 36 or not? You know that 2 divides 30, 2 18s are 36, 0. So yes, 2 divides 36. So what is the square of this? 36 I can write 6 square. Whether 2 also divides 6? Yes, 2 3s are 6. It divides. Same way 2 divides 64? Yes, 2 divides 64, because this I can write as 64 I can write as 8 square. So 2 divides 8 square, then 2 also divides 8. So by this what we can understand, if p is any prime number, if that p divides a square, then p also divides a. If p divides a square, p also divides a. P divides a square, p also divides a. Because remaining we cannot take for p is equal to 2. For p is equal to 1 cannot be divided, 9 cannot be divided, 49 cannot be divided, and 81 also not divisible by 2. This is the first case. The second case which we will take, for p is equal to 5 they asked. The second case is if p is equal to 5. For p is equal to 5, whether 5 divides 1? No. 5 divides 4? No. 5 divides 1 means 5 and 1. 5, 1. It will not divide. Right? So there won't be a remainder 0. So 5 does not divide 1. 5 also does not divide 4. 5, 9, no. 5, 25? Yes. So if 5 divides 25, then 5 divides 25, right? Because 5, 25, 5 5 is a 25, 0. So here I can write 5 divides 25. Then by theorem what I can write? 5 also divides 5. 5 also divides 5, right? This is 25 is nothing but 5 square. P divides a square, then P also divides a. Then 5 divides 5, yes, 5, 5, 5 1 the 5, 0. So if 5 divides 25, then 5 also divide 5. Any others? No number will divide by 5. With 5 only 25 will be divided, which is a p square, and also 5 divides 5. Okay, this is about the theorem 1.6. What theorem says? If p is any number or p is any prime number, p is any prime number, if p divides some square number, p divides a square, then p also divides a. Let us take one more example. Suppose 7 is there. 7 divides 49, then 7 also divides 7. Whatever the number you take, it should be in the square form, right? Suppose 3 divides, if I take 81, 3 divides 81, right? It is divided. 3 divides 81, 3 2s are 6, 2 1, 3 7s are 21. Yes, 3 divides 81. Then 3 should be divided by 81 means which we can write as 9 square, right? 9 square is 81. So 3 also should divide 9. So 3 dividing 9, right? 3 3 is a 9 0. Yes. So whatever the number, prime number you take, if the prime number divides the square of a number, then the prime number also divides the number. The prime number divides square of a number, then the prime number also divides the number. So you can write 3 divides 9 square, then 3 divides 9. So in general I can say if p divides a square, then p also divides a. This is a theorem 1.6. In the next what we are going to see is the properties of irrational number. Properties of irrational number. Now let us see some properties of irrational number. So whether the sum of two irrational numbers is irrational or not. Sum of two irrational numbers is irrational or not. Let us take some example. If I take example root 2 plus root 3 is irrational or not? Root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational, so it is a irrational number, right? Suppose if I take one more example, root 2 plus minus root 2, root 2 plus minus root 2 is nothing but root 2 minus root 2 is 0. So 0 is a rational or irrational? 0 is a rational. That means sum of two irrational numbers, sometimes it is coming as irrational and sometimes it is coming as rational, right? So what I can write the property is the sum of two irrational numbers sum of two irrational numbers need not be irrational. Sum of two irrational numbers need not be irrational numbers. Example I can say, example is root 2 is a irrational, also minus 2 root 2 is also irrational numbers. Root 2 minus root 2 are irrational numbers. The sum if I take root 2 plus minus root 2 is equal to root 2 minus root 2 is equal to 0, which is a rational number. So what I can write? The sum of two irrational numbers need not be irrational. Sometimes it is irrational, sometimes it is rational, depending on the given irrational numbers. Same way, the product, if we take the product of two irrational numbers also need not be irrational. The product of two irrational numbers, need not be irrational. The product of two irrational numbers need not be irrational. So product always may not be rational. Sometimes it is irrational, sometimes not a rational. Suppose see, let us see root 2, root 3 if I take. Root 2, root 3 is nothing but root 2 into 3, root 6 is irrational. Right? Root 2, root 3 is called root 2 into 3, root 6 is irrational. This is example. Example 1. So example 2, if I take same number, root 2 into root 2 is equal to, I can write root 2 into 2 is nothing but root 4 is 2, which is a rational number. So product of two irrational numbers, sometimes it is coming as rational, sometimes it is coming as irrational based on the numbers given. So finally what I can conclude, the product of two irrational numbers need not be rational, also the sum of two irrational numbers also need not be integers. Now let us see the combination of rational and irrational, which already we learned in the 9th class. The sum of rational and irrational, it becomes what? Okay, so just if you note down, you can note down this. By pausing the video, you can note down all the steps. Okay, now let us see the combination of rational and irrational. In the note you can write, so let small q be irrational, small q be irrational, small q be take as rational number, and small s you take as small s be irrational number. So one is a rational, one is irrational. Just we have seen if sum of two irrational numbers need not be rational and product of two irrational numbers need not be rational. But here we will take one is a rational and one is a irrational. Suppose the first one, q plus s, whether it is a rational or irrational. Q plus s. Q plus s is nothing but sum of the rational and irrational number is what? Is always irrational number. Q plus s is irrational number. Q plus s is irrational number. This we can write the sum of one rational and one irrational number. One rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. Right? Sum of one rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. And second, sum is there is nothing but same way difference also you can write, q minus s is always irrational number. So sum and difference both are same. Q minus s is also irrational number. So you can write the same statement. The difference of one rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. Third one, if I take the product is nothing but qs. If I take example for here is, I can take 3 plus root 2 is irrational, one is rational and one is irrational, is always irrational. 3 plus root 2 irrational. Here example if I take 3 minus root 2 irrational. QS is nothing but the product of one rational and one irrational is always irrational only. Irrational number. What you can write here? the product of one rational number and one irrational number is always irrational number. We'll write it. The product of one rational number and one irrational number is always irrational number. So product of one rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. If I take examples, I can write 2 root 3 is always irrational number. 2 is a rational and root 3 is a irrational. 2 root 3 is irrational number. Same way, the fourth one I can write the quotient of rational and irrational number. The quotient of Q by S is irrational number. Is nothing but you can write the quotient of or the division of one rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. This 4 properties we have learned in the 9th class. What is the property? The first one is the sum of one rational and one irrational is always irrational, and also the difference of one rational and one irrational is also irrational number. The product of one rational and one irrational is always irrational number, and also the quotient or the division of one rational and one irrational number is always irrational number. Okay, so this is about the properties of irrational numbers. Now let us see the proving a irrational numbers. So if you see the question, they will ask, prove that, in the textbook you are having, prove that root 2 is irrational number, or root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational, like this we are having in the textbook, right? This is 1, 2, 3. Prove that irrational number, prove that irrational number. So this is the one set of proving, right? And the second set is prove that in the second set what we are having is one rational number and one irrational number. So like 3 plus root 5 is irrational number. Prove that 3 plus root 5 is irrational number, or else they will give like this also. Prove that root 3 plus root 5 is irrational number. Prove that root 3 plus root 5 is irrational numbers, or else they will give like this. Prove that I can say 2 plus 3 root 5 is irrational number. So question will be asked in the examination based on this type, right? Prove that 3 plus root 5 is irrational number, or sometimes this is the most asked question. Prove that root 3 plus root 5 is irrational number, or else they will ask prove that 2 plus 3 root 5 is irrational numbers. I'll attach the previous year questions in the lastly, that you can practice for your practice. Now there is a 2 types of proving. One is prove that root 2 is irrational number. This is a purely irrational number. There is no rational number, or else root 3 or root 5. This is a one set of proving, and this is the one more set of type of doing. Okay, this no one will ask you in the question in the examination, but let us see how to prove root 2 is irrational number, and also let us see one example for each of this. Okay, so proving this, we are having a one method is called contradictory method. First let us see the first problem. Prove that root 2 is irrational number. So root 2, root 3, root 5, if pure irrational numbers are given, if there is no rational numbers, if purely irrational numbers are given, the method of doing the or method of proving is a different, or if the irrational number and rational number is given, the method of proving is different. So this one for our understanding we will do it, but this is the most important for examination. So for both we will use contradictory method. Let us see what is a contradictory method. So the first question is, prove that root 2 is irrational number. So we will prove this by contradictory method. Contradictory method. So what is the contradictory method? The most important is, what is a contradiction? Contradiction is nothing but the opposite. The opposite is nothing but contradictory. So if you take, for proving root 2 is irrational number, for proving root 2 is irrational number, the contradictor to irrational is what? Contradictor is nothing but opposite. Opposite to irrational number is rational. Opposite to irrational number is rational. Then the first we should consider the given root 2 is a rational number. That is a contradictory method. Contradictory method is nothing but whatever is given. If irrational number is given, take it as in contradictory, it is a rational. Contradictory is nothing but if there are two ways. If there are two ways, which way to be selected is important. Suppose if I selected this way, then if I get any wrong here, if I selected this way, if I get anything wrong, then I can prove that this way is a correct way. Understanding? So if I select any way is wrong, if I selected any way is wrong, then the other way is right. Anything if you take, there are two things. Suppose in the contradictory, if not understand this one, let us take one more example. Suppose I want to go from here to Hyderabad, from Karimnagar to Hyderabad. So I want to go Karimnagar to Hyderabad, right? Suppose there are two buses, right? Suppose there are two buses. So one bus is some, bus number is some X, suppose this bus number is some Y. Two buses are there. So which bus is correct? I don't know. Which bus is correct, X or Y? How to prove which is correct? Suppose if I take the bus X, if I go to here, then I'll see a Taj Mahal. Suppose I got to see a Taj Mahal. Then what I can understand? The bus which I have catched is the wrong bus. Which is the wrong bus? Then what is the correct bus? The correct bus will be Y. Right? So this is called contradictory method. From Karimnagar to Hyderabad, there are two buses, X and Y. So I have to prove that Y is the correct bus. Y is the correct bus I have to prove. For that what I did, contradictorily I went in this bus. So I went to some other place where I could able to see some Taj Mahal, suppose. Then I realized that no, this is not a Hyderabad. Then what I can conclude, the bus which I have started is a wrong bus, right? The place which I have to reach is a wrong place. Why he went to wrong place? Because he selected the wrong one. Then what is the right? The opposite one was right. So Y is the correct bus he wanted to go to Hyderabad. So this is called contradictory method, the opposite method. So suppose if I want to show root 2 is irrational number, what I have to assume? I have to assume that root 2 is a rational number. This is called contradictory method. So how to prove? Let us see. Proof. Let us assume root 2 is rational number. Root 2 is rational number. I have to prove root 2 is irrational number. I am assuming root 2 is rational numbers. I will do some process and somewhere I'll find that this is a mistake. Why this mistake has come? Because I assumed root 2 is a rational number. So I can say that root 2 is not a rational number. See, let us assume root 2 is rational number. Then if rational number means I can write root 2 is equal to a by b, where a comma b are integers, b not 0, and also a comma b are co-primes. This you take always. Root 2 is equal to a by b, where a comma b are integers, b not 0, a comma b are co-primes. This is about rational number. If I take root 2 as a rational number, then I can write it is in the form of a by b, a, b are integers, b not 0, a, b are co-primes. Co-primes are nothing but there is no common factor, right? There is no common factor, then that is co-primes. Already we discussed, suppose 4 and 7, there is no common factor. Suppose if I take 4 and 8, these two are co-primes? No, these two are not co-primes. There is suppose 1, 2, 4, here 1, 2, 4, 8. 2 is a common factor we are having, so 4 and 8 are not co-primes. Co-primes are nothing but there should be common factor. If common factor is there, then that are not a co-primes. So here a and b are co-primes, that means there should not be any common factor. So co-prime, that is a and b should not have common factors. A and b should not have common factors, right? Now root 2 is equal to a by b is there. So see, root 2 is equal to a by b. Now what I will do is squaring on the both sides. Then I will get 2 is equal to a square by b square. 2 is equal to a square by b square. If I cross multiply it, 2b square is equal to a square. So say this is equation number 1. 2b square is equal to a square. So 2b square is equal to a square is nothing but what I can write is 2 into something is equal to a square. So then I can write 2 divides a square. 2b square is equal to a square is nothing but 2 divides a square. Suppose I am having like this, say 2 into 4 is equal to not 2 into 4, say 2 into 8 is equal to 16 is there. 2 into 8 is equal to 16 is there, right? Or else I can write 2 into 8 is equal to 4 square is there. Then I can say, right, 2 divides 4 square. 2 divides 4 square, or 8 also divides 4 square. So same way, if 2b square is equal to a square, then 2 divides a square. Then we know the theorem. What's the theorem? If p divides a square, p also divides a. Then by theorem 1.6, what I can write? 2 divides a. By theorem also 2 divides a. So here we got, say this is equation number 2. 2b square a square is, then 2 divides a square. Then by theorem also 2 divides a. So 2 divides a is nothing but what I can write is 2 divides a is nothing but 2 divides a is nothing but I can write 2c is equal to a. 2 divides a is nothing but 2c is equal to a. 2c is equal to a, again squaring on the both sides, what I can write? 4c square is equal to a square. 4c square is equal to a square. Now I will substitute here. What is there? I am having 2b square is equal to a square. Suppose say this is equation number 2 and this is equation number 3. So 2b square is equal to a square by equation 2. So 2b square is equal to a square. Now a square is equal to, I can write as 4c square. So 2b square is equal to, from here I can write 4c square. So 2 cancel. So b square is equal to 2c square. B square is equal to 2c square. So b square is equal to 2c square. Same, you just observe 2b square is equal to a square is there. Then I written 2 divides a square. Here also I am having b square is equal to 2c square. Then I can write 2 divides b square. Then 2 also divides b. 2 divides a square, 2 divides b square, then 2 also divides b. So say this is equation number 4. Now we got two equations, equation 3 and equation 4. What equation 3 says? 2 divides a. Equation 4 says 2 divides b. This is nothing but 2 divides b, right? 2 divides b. That is nothing but 2 is the factor of a and b. So therefore 2 is a common factor of a comma b. 2 is a common factor of a comma b. Now I am writing common here. So I got 2 is a common factor of both a and b. So if you observe that starting root 2 is equal to a by b I have taken, and a by b also we have taken as co-primes. So co-primes are nothing but a comma b are not having common factors. So now here we got 2 is a common factor of both a and b. Both are contradicting to each other. So we have assumed initially root 2 as a rational number. So we got a and b are co-primes. But here 2 is a common factor of both a and b. That means a and b are not co-primes here, right? So which is contradicting to given statement a comma b are co-primes. Which is contradicting to given statement a comma b are co-primes. Why this has come? This has come due to our wrong assumption. What we assumed, root 2 is rational number. So which contradicting to given statement a comma b are co-primes. Why this has come? This has arisen because of our wrong assumption. This statement is the most important. You should write these two statements. Always in the examination you should write this, which contradicting to given statement a comma b are co-primes. For this case, this has arisen because of our wrong assumption. So what is the wrong assumption? Assumption is what? Root 2 is rational number is our assumption. That is a wrong. So what is the right? So the right is root 2 is irrational number. So this has arisen because of our wrong assumption. So therefore we can conclude that what I can conclude? Root 2 is irrational. Root 2 is irrational number, hence proved. So this is the method to prove any irrational number is proving a irrational number. So first we should assume that given number is contradictory method. Given number is a rational number. So every rational number can be written as a by b form, where a comma b are integers and b is not 0, and a comma b are co-primes. Co-primes are nothing but the two numbers are not having any common factor. So by using that, root 2 is equal to a by b, squaring on the both sides, then we got there 2b square is equal to a square. So if 2b square is equal to a square, then I can write 2 divides a square. So if 2 divides a square, from the previous theorem I can say that 2 divides a. So that is the first statement. We got 2 divides a. So if 2 divides a, I can write 2c is equal to some a. 2 divides a means I can write 2c is equal to a. If 2c is equal to a, squaring on the both sides, then I got 4c square is equal to a square. So if 4c square is equal to a square is the first statement, and second statement is we are having 2b square is equal to a square. So two statements we got. The first statement is 2b square is equal to a square, and the second statement we got 4c square is equal to a square. So by this 2 I written 2b square is equal to 4c square. 2 to cancel, b square is equal to 2c square. So b square is equal to 2c square we written. So 2 divides b square. So 2 divides b square means 2 divides b. In the first I got 2 divides a, and in the second we got 2 divides b. So 2 is a common factor of both a and b I can write. If common factor of a and b, which is a contradicting to the given statement that a comma b are co-primes, because initially it is a rational number means they are co-primes. There should be a comma b are co-primes, right? So which contradicting to the statement. Now this has arisen. Why this has come? This has arisen because of our wrong assumption. This has arisen because of a wrong assumption. So we can conclude that root 2 is irrational number, hence proved. So this is the way to prove root 2 is irrational number, root 3 is irrational number, root 5 is irrational number, 1 by root 2 is irrational number. So in 1.4 exercise you are having, I think, 1 by root 2 is irrational number. So this is the way to prove that type of irrational numbers. Now in the next video we are going to see the most important proving a irrational number, like 3 by root 5 is irrational number, or 3 plus root 5, 3 minus root 5, like this. Suppose 3 plus root 5 is irrational number. Already we have seen in the 4th and 5th and 6th problem. 3 plus root 5, root 3 plus root 5, or root 3 plus 2 root 5 are irrational number. In the next video, which is the most important for 4 mark questions, this one, 3 plus root 5, root 3 plus root 5, root 3 plus 2 root 5 are irrational number. Let us see in the next video. Okay, thank you.